If your baby just turned 1 and suddenly decided sleep is optional, you're not imagining it. One day you had a rhythm, and the next day your child is practicing walking at 2 in the morning like they have a tiny fitness influencer brand deal. And the worst part is the way everyone blames you, or teething, or the full moon, or that one nap you did in the car last Tuesday. Hi, I'm Treasure, and I help exhausted modern parents get clear, gentle sleep that actually fits real life, without the guilt spiral and without random internet advice that changes every 5 minutes. Let's start with the biggest relief. The 12-month regression is rarely a mystery. It's usually a predictable collision of development, timing, and how your baby is falling asleep at the start of the night. By the way, if you want this whole season laid out in a calm plan you can follow, download my free guide, The Modern Parent Sleep Roadmap. The link is in the video description and on the screen. Here's what's actually going on under the surface. Around 1 year, your baby is learning big skills fast. Standing, cruising, walking, climbing, talking more, understanding more, and realizing you can leave the room, which is honestly rude. So what happens at night is simple. They wake between sleep cycles like always, but now they have new powers, new opinions, and a much stronger memory of how they got to sleep. There are a few common patterns that create this exact problem. One is practice mode. Your baby pops up, pulls to stand, and then forgets how to get back down like a tiny goat stuck on a ledge. Another is schedule shift. Many babies are in that awkward zone where 2 naps start getting messy, but 1 nap feels too early. So you get overtired nights one day and undertired split nights the next, and you start questioning your entire parenting resume. And then there's teething confusion. Yes, teeth can disrupt sleep, but teething gets blamed for everything from night waking to your baby side-eyeing your dinner choices. A lot of families chase teething for weeks when the real issue is timing and sleep habits that got accidentally reinforced during a hard week. Let's talk about teething for a second, because I want you to feel calm and accurate here. If your baby is uncomfortable, you comfort them. That is not you creating a lifelong pattern in one night. The trap is when pain is gone, but the new sleep setup stays. Now baby expects the same level of help at every wake, not because they're manipulating you, but because babies repeat what works. Now let's talk about what helps, starting tonight. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to stop the spiral and get back to predictable nights even while your baby's brain is doing the most. Start by protecting one anchor, a consistent morning start time, not because you're rigid, but because the whole schedule floats off into space when mornings drift late. When mornings drift, naps drift. When naps drift, bedtime gets weird. When bedtime gets weird, you get the 2 in the morning baby workout class again. If you're parenting with a partner, this is the week to tag team on purpose. If you're doing this alone, I want you to hear me clearly. You deserve a plan that does not require superhero energy at midnight. Let me show you the smallest changes that make the biggest difference. One is daytime practice, on your terms. If your baby is pulling to stand all night, give them lots of standing practice during the day and teach the down motion when everyone is calm. At bedtime, you want the message to be boring and consistent. If they stand, you calmly help them back down with as little stimulation as possible. No big chatting, no bright lights, no new games, just calm, predictable, same response every time. And if your baby is the kind who gets revved up easily or seems extra sensitive to sound, light, clothing tags, or transitions, keep the environment and routine extra steady right now. Some babies need more help winding down because their nervous system holds on tight to stimulation, especially when new skills are exploding. Now we have to talk about the schedule piece, because this is where parents accidentally make nights worse while trying so hard. If your baby's last nap is landing too late, bedtime gets pushed, sleep pressure gets weird, and you get more night waking and early mornings. If your baby is refusing the second nap, do not turn bedtime into a late night experiment. A slightly earlier bedtime for a season can be the most sanity-saving move you make. And if your baby is taking one long nap but it's too early in the day, you may see that wide awake stretch overnight that makes you want to reorganize your pantry at 1 in the morning out of rage. That can be undertired plus an early nap, not a broken baby. So here's the practical way to think about it. You want enough awake time before bed for solid sleep pressure, but not so much that your baby is running on stress hormones. That middle zone is where the magic is, and it's different for every child. Now let's zoom in on the bedtime routine, because this is where the teething confusion gets loud. If your baby is truly uncomfortable, you will see it in the day too. More cranky, more clingy, less appetite sometimes, maybe more drooling, and they may struggle to settle even with help. If it feels like a sudden change plus other symptoms, call your pediatrician and ask what they want you to watch for. Sometimes what looks like teething is actually an ear infection, reflux flare, illness, or something else that deserves medical support. If your baby seems fine in the day but parties at night, that leans more toward timing and habits, not pain. And this is the myth I want to bust gently. The 12-month regression does not mean your baby is trying to test you. It means your baby is developing, and sleep is a skill that gets wobbly when the brain is busy. Now here's the part most parents miss. The way your baby falls asleep at bedtime often predicts what happens at the first wake. If baby falls asleep with a lot of help, it's common to need that same help again and again overnight. That does not mean you did anything wrong. It means your baby has a strong association, and it got stronger during a week of travel, sickness, teething, or survival mode. So you get to choose your next move with intention. You can keep helping the same way and accept more wakes for a season, or you can gently reduce the amount of help at bedtime so night wakes calm down too. And I know what you're thinking, Treasure, I can barely function. I do not want a whole new project. Good, we're not doing a whole new project. We're looking for the smallest shift that creates momentum. Maybe you move from fully rocking to mostly rocking and placing down calmer. Maybe you move from feeding to sleep to feeding earlier in the routine, then using another soothing cue at the end. Maybe your partner takes the first settle so baby learns a different path to calm. You do not have to do it perfectly. You do have to do it consistently enough that your baby can learn what to expect. Here's the suspense piece I need you to hold on to because it changes everything. In this regression, the winning strategy is not doing more. It's doing less, more calmly and more consistently, while fixing the schedule trap that keeps resetting sleep pressure. And this is exactly when personalized support can save you weeks of guessing. If you want help that fits your baby and your actual life, I can support you. I have a master's in social work, I'm a certified pediatric sleep consultant, and I'm the CEO of Rested and Renewed Pediatric Sleep Consulting. You can book a consultation and we'll build a plan that feels clear, gentle, and realistic. Now let's close the loop with what to do when you're in the thick of a night wake tonight. If your baby wakes and stands up, keep your response calm and boring. Help them back down, pause, and give them a chance to settle with the least amount of stimulation you can manage. If they are upset, you can comfort them. Comfort is allowed. The goal is not cold. The goal is predictable. If you're dealing with repeated wakes at the same times, look at what happened in the day. Was the nap late? Was bedtime pushed? Was there a lot of stimulation? Did they get a second wind? That detective work is what gets you out of the spiral without blaming yourself. And if you feel like you are doing everything and nothing is working, that is not a character flaw. That usually means there is a hidden mismatch in timing or a pattern got reinforced and needs a clearer plan than random tweaks. And here's when I'd stop guessing and get extra support. If your baby has a fever, signs of significant pain, trouble breathing, dehydration, repeated vomiting, or anything that concerns you medically, call your pediatrician. And if sleep has been falling apart for weeks, you are back to multiple wakes every night, you are barely functioning at work, or you feel like you're becoming a different person from sleep deprivation, that is also a valid reason to get help. You do not have to earn support by suffering more. If this already made you feel even a tiny bit calmer, the next video is where everything starts to click, because once you understand the pattern behind your nights, you stop trying random fixes and you finally get your evenings back. Tap the screen to watch my next video.
Before you go, download Treasure's free guide, hit subscribe, and watch the next one. You'll be so glad you did.